So a lot of people know that Roblox Greenville isn't the best for roleplay, and it is technically a roleplay game. So in this video I'm going to be talking about some ways that I personally think Greenville can become a better roleplay game. So if you do enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like and also subscribe, but let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first thing I think is quite obvious is having more implemented private servers. I know there are private servers that you can buy, but how ERLC does it, for example, they have a menu in the game with private servers and you can see other listed servers, and in fact they're not really private servers, they're more roleplay servers. But they can also be private servers if you want them to be. Now I think games like Greenville and Southwest Florida as well, but Greenville specifically for this video, should do things like this. By doing that, it allows other people to see what roleplay servers there are, join them and get involved with them. But it also allows for more diverse roleplay, especially in ERLC, for example, how they have the custom liveries. That's worked really well for ERLC because the roleplay is more diverse and loads of people do it from different counties. You have American, even British, and different servers like that with different liveries and different things. Now I think Greenville should implement some kind of private server or roleplay server list, similar to how ERLC does it, because I know you can get private servers in Greenville, but you can't see and view other people's private servers, and they're not really roleplay servers. So I think they should implement something like that where there's a more ability to view private servers and you can get involved a lot more easily, because it's also very difficult to try and find Greenville roleplay servers that run from the current private servers that are on Roblox. They're very difficult to do. So I think it'd be much more efficient if they had, like, you know, special roleplay servers or private servers, whatever you want to call them, similar to ERLC, where you have like admin commands like that and you can do different things like you can do in ERLC. The second one is more interactive jobs / more interactive things to do. I know there are loads and loads of jobs in Greenville. As you can see, there is a job for pretty much every single building that has an interior in the game. You've got all your main ones up here that are the more interactive ones, but there's still nothing really interactive. Like in ERLC, even on the fast food place, for example, the Three Guys one in emergency response Liberty County, they have a food van. And in that food van, you can make burgers and you can make drinks and you can give people trays of food that you make in that van, for example, in that food truck, and you can drive that food truck around wherever you want. You can open and close the door, you can make stuff in the back of that truck, whereas you don't get any of that in this game. And at least you can make things in, like, you know, you can design things and you can create and actually make burgers in that. You might be able to do that in Greenville. I'm not too fluent with Greenville, but I don't think you can. If you can, great, but still add more interactive jobs, like maybe, for example, AI characters doing like AI things, I guess. Like, for example, some of the jobs, maybe having NPCs or AI characters, I hate saying NPCs, or AI characters walking into a shop where they can maybe buy something, or you can serve them, or do something like that, or just having a food truck that you can drive around, maybe an ice cream van or something like that is interactive. But also having things like in ERLC, for example, how we have the server calls like the plane crash or the major fires, or I know for a long time Greenville didn't have fires. I'm not sure if they've been added in an update, but if they haven't, fires, there's no point in a fire department if there is no fires. That is not a roleplay game as such. I know Greenville is also made to be a driving game, but people play it for roleplay. It is huge in the roleplay industry, and sometimes a game might be made to do something, but the community might turn it into something else. And as game developers, you have to adapt to be able to do that, and you have to adapt to what your community has made your game, because without the community your game is useless. So you have to kind of do what the community wants, and if a lot of people want Greenville to be a roleplay game more than a driving game, then I think the developers should look at that and think, okay, well, the majority of people want it to be a roleplay game, so let's implement at least some features that are roleplay. We can still keep it as a driving game where you get money when you drive, but maybe also add the ability to make money from working at a store, for example. I think that would make it a lot nicer. And having maybe AI car crashes or or things that police, fire, EMS can respond to. Maybe having house fires, maybe having people trapped inside the house fires that you have to go and rescue, and then maybe the ambulance can come and try and heal them as an AI. Just loads of different things that were coming off the top of my head that can be implemented because we can see them in other games. So it is possible, and that stuff would be nice to see in other roleplay games like Greenville, for example. And that was also kind of the third one with roleplay calls. So how we have in ERLC, we have like the plane crash that spawns anywhere over the map. We have the car crashes, we have the bridge collapse, we have the tunnel collapse. There's so many more features in Greenville. Greenville's map is so much bigger. There are so many more features that can be added to make things like that. For example, there's houses over the lake could have like one of the beams on the house collapse and the house like slightly falls into the lake or the ocean or the river or whatever it is. And maybe like a new job like a Coast Guard service or something like that, where you have to go and try and rescue victims from the water. Or maybe even if it's just the house that falls and there's nothing you can do there, actually you could do that. You could get your friends and create a roleplay with that and be creative with it, and things like that I think are what will make the game just that little bit better and better for roleplay. And then the fourth one, I know this isn't really possible, this isn't an actual serious one. They were kind of the main three, so that is kind of all for this video, but this fourth one is just a thing that I think would help but isn't really possible. So having a smaller map. Now in ERLC, the developer and the owner, in fact, Mr. Fergie, has always said that the reason that map is so small is because he wants everyone to be in a similar area. You might have seen this server has all these people in it. That's quite a few, and you might have seen throughout this video I haven't seen that many people. I've been driving back and forth up this road and we've only passed a couple of people. We've passed like a fire vehicle, one car going quite fast, and a motorbike, and that's about it. And there's one more vehicle up here, but there's like what, 20 people in this server, more than that in fact. And this is the main road. Everyone is so spread out in this game that you never see anyone. If you're on a public server, you want to be seeing people, because we can see people are talking in chat right now and role playing about it, but we don't know where they are, so we can't join in on their roleplay. They might not want us to, but in a public server you kind of join in with random people's roleplay and make them friends, and that's kind of how you roleplay in a public server. But we can't really do that because we don't know where they are, and the map is so big that it's so hard to find where they are. Like I could just drive down here in fact, and it takes us all the way so far down this road goes, and there's so many turn offs as well. Like we could go down that road or in there, or we could, you know, turn off somewhere else down there or down here, and there's so many places you can go where we've just driven on that main road, and there's all of these buildings as well. Now I know Greenville is based off of a place in real life, so they can't really make it smaller. But for example, is there any need for these buildings here? Because who uses them? We can cross this road off there, maybe make that dead end, and you've still got a huge map, but it cuts out that people being so far apart. Because in ERLC, for example, when you're driving around, you're always passing someone. I haven't seen one police officer in this server, so they kind of need to work on that as well. And it's so easy to get lost, and there isn't really a map on Greenville properly. There might be now, I haven't checked, but when I was last on it, like properly, there was no map, and it's really hard to learn. I sort of know my way around now, but not properly, and it is really hard to learn the map because there is no map like that you can view. You just have to drive around and try and learn what you can from it. But I think making it smaller would help people be closer together, and ultimately that will help the roleplay because there will be more people in a similar area joining in on similar roleplays. If there was a car crash, there'll be a traffic jam from the people, but if there was a car crash here or on one of these private roads, maybe if I turned right there, then no one would see, and there would be no one there, and there would be no traffic jams. There might be like one ambulance maybe, but in ERLC or in other roleplay games as well, things build up and they join in and things make roleplays better. The more people in a roleplay, the better the roleplay is, right? But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Let me know if you think Greenville is primarily a driving game or a roleplay game. Let me know if you think it should become more of a roleplay game or should stay as kind of a driving game. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I've mentioned as well. This isn't any hate to Greenville either, this is just my opinion on how it can be a better roleplay game, because I think the majority of people play Greenville for roleplay. So yeah, let me know your thought about that in the comment below. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, obviously make sure you drop a like and subscribe, it helps me out a huge amount. Also in the comments, let me know what other videos that you want to see on the channel. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye.